we have seen three different things. One is the virtual lab. So if you observe this particular virtual lab, this one I am talking about. So this is the one. And however, you know the common thing in every student's life is MySQL workbench, maybe for their projects or something like that. And even I am having this thing also, friends. Let me share that. So this virtual machine I personally established. Reason behind is simple, because to perform some kind of the research on some kind of the aspects, I have established this particular virtual machine, which is giving us all the tools. Maybe as I said, after this training, you may be deputed to data engineering or data science. So for that purpose, I established all Hadoop ecosystem and as well as the PySpark orientation. So rather than integrating all multiple tools separately, I am taking, but I don't know whether 4 GB is enough and RAM at least 16 GB is preferable, guys. Okay, so that is one more challenge. Maybe I can give you some other options. Don't worry, no problem. So definitely we'll work out on those kind of the things. Okay, so that is one of the aspect. So before the break, we have discussed a few aspects like how we are making use of the coding style in a readable format, and most importantly the referential integrity, the exhaustive and exclusive discussion we have seen. Now let me ask you a few questions, but from morning onwards I am keep on talking, so I miss it out you. I always love to hear from you. So I'll put some simple questions, guys, maybe which helps me to understand the things in a better way. Uh, we are having some keywords actually in the SQL orientation. Okay, so suppose if I am asking you, some kind of the keywords I am having. Okay, so basically some kind of the keywords I'm having. Now I want to specify the synonym of the keywords. Okay, suppose I'm giving four options here. Okay, so just let me. Keywords can be also known as. Okay, so just think through. I'm giving the options here, uh, which is nothing but programming terms is one option, and second thing is SQL words is the second option I am giving. And third one is reserved words. And the fourth option is variable names. Okay, so just observe here. I have put a question to you guys, like with the understanding of these, um, with this experience of SQL and all these things. SQL, many keywords were there like group by, order by, select, insert, update, delete. Most of the times we are using the keywords only. Now, how do we rate that? Programming terms can we call as a programming terms or SQL words or variable names or reserved words? So only Vedant has given the answer. Yeah, Sai Sravanthi, nice. Answer is reserved words, friend, because from the other programming language also, it is a self-explanatory. Because the point here is at the moment I am talking about the keywords in the programming language, keywords are nothing but the reserved words. A reserved word in the sense we cannot use those particular keywords as the variable names. So directly there is a meaning of that particular keyword, and reserved in the sense there is a reserved meaning of that particular keyword. Okay, keywords can be also known as the reserved words. Very good. Okay, nice. Okay, and one more important thing, friends. I'm placing some kind of the words in front of you. One is field, and the second is record, and third one is entity instance, and the fourth one is horizontal entity. Okay, so now the question is out of these things. Okay, so just we are I'm mentioning some kind of the statements here. There are certain aspects. Okay, like field, record, entity, entity instance, and horizontal entity. Um, Out of these particular four, okay, some of the a particular word is not related to, or else I'll put my question in this way. What is the odd man out from this set? Okay. Just a trick is there. Maybe you need to pull up your ER experience. Maybe you can integrate that ER experience with your SQL experience. Uh, then only you can answer this one, friends. Don't be in a hurry. Just to think through. Just one statement you populate from the four entries. What is a field? What is a record? What do you mean by entity instance? What do you mean by horizontal entity? Okay, then you remove the irrelevant word. Okay, whatever the word which is irrelevant, just you can remove that. Field, record, entity, entity instance, horizontal entity. Or else let me explain these four words. Um, a field is nothing but attribute which is referenced by a particular column. I mean to say, suppose student number, student name, average marks, or else CGPA, all these things are there. So in that particular case, if I am specifying some sort of information, that is a field. However, record is something which is a combination of attributes. A record is the entire representation of the corresponding information from the table. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Record is something like combination of the attributes. Maybe that is a three or four attributes or entire attributes. I can say select star from EMP is a record, or select employee number comma department ID is also a record. Okay, that is one thing. What do you mean by entity instance, friends? Entity instance. Sahu, we cannot hear you, Sahu.
Hello,
Yeah,
can
yeah,
you
now,
hear me?
yeah, now
Yes.
I can hear. Yeah.
It's manifestation of an entity, like the particular entities, uh, like the
Entity
records.
Entity is nothing but object, na?
Yes,
Basically,
sir.
if you are talking about the entity, anything can be entity in the terminology of ER diagram.
Yes, sir.
Instance means example. Okay, na? So like in your CPP and Java, what you can say is uh, uh, object is the instance of the class, will say. That means totally this entity instance is one object, especially if I'm talking about the entity instance, it is an example. Suppose if I'm asking friends, can you give the example of the student? I can give Sahu, and he belongs to big data project, and he is working with so and so team. It is also representing some data about the members. What do you mean by horizontal entity? Horizontal. Maybe I am picking up a record rather than the columns, the entire record horizontally or vertically. You may be knowing about the concept of slicing and dicing, friends. Okay, slice means just I'm picking up only few attributes. Dicing means entire record I am fetching. Yeah. Now, indirectly, I revealed the answer. Just to Harish, how do you rate? How do you observe this?
Sir, a horizontal entity that is
Is a record only.
row,
That is also
row.
record. That is also row. What about entity instance?
Entity instance, that means the maybe many objects of our entity
Combination. Na?
instance
Combination means again
combination.
that is also some sort of record. Second thing is a direct point. However, it is a record. Then which is the odd one then, friends? Which is the odd one?
That is
Field is the odd
field.
one. Okay, na? Field is the odd one because field is only referencing one thing, friends. Actually, it is talking about only one attribute. But that's what a little trick because the point here is, guys, if you are moving ahead to the project, there are certain terminologies to understand because understanding of the documentation is first important thing. Creation of the table, establishment of parent and child, everyone can do. Just create table name and all the attributes and primary key, foreign key. But on what basis we need to decide whether the table is a master table or detailed table, whether I need to establish any group by option, that we need to decide actually. For that decision making, you should have the complete understanding of the terminology of the database. Okay, so especially in this example, guys, the field is the odd man out, which is not relevant to the record or entity instance or horizontal entity, because the second, third, and fourth options are completely relevant to the record or example data related to a student or employee. But one thing is very clear: the field is something like which is talking about only one attribute. Okay, so that is the perspective. Okay, and one more important thing, friends. You may not aware of the relational algebra. I am skipping that part. Yeah. Uh, Now I am asking you one more, which is a simple question. I am giving you the statements like create, select, drop, and alter. Okay, we are having so some kind of the statement create, select, alter, and drop. You may be wondering, very simple question. Out of these particular things, which is not part of DDL, which is not the part of DDL. Okay, I'm giving you the create, select, alter, and drop. Yesterday, maybe Karthik described about the create table and all. Okay, friends, here and one more thing, while working with the log files and all, in the transaction, if you are having the DDL statement, automatically those DDLs are auto committed, friends. Okay, whereas if I am talking about the DMLs, you need to explicitly commit those particular statements. Okay, na? But whereas in we are pretty sure that create, alter, and drop are belonging to the category of the DDL, whereas select is a statement which is not relevant to the DDLs. Okay, right. However, one more option is there, friends. If you are talking about the grant and revoke, okay, so can someone give me the purpose of grant and revoke statements? You can use the chat window. So because while talking about the database kind of the techniques, grant and revoke is a kind of controlling language where DBA is having entire things in his hand, maybe creation of the table, creation of the users, working with some kind of the constraints, establishing some kind of the rules, everything would be there. And yeah, as per our friend Sahu says, to give permissions to the user or a team, yes, and permission for the user, grant and revoke, definitely. And revoking is nothing but suppose if DBA has given the permission to a set of people or a particular people but they are misusing that. Okay, they are, or else I can say that person has been moved from SQL to some big data kind of thing. In that particular case, he need not have the access of that particular SQL convention. So automatically what you can do is you can follow up that convention of revoking that. DBA can revoke that, right? Okay, that is a simple managing the right users have in the database. Okay. Um, one more thing, friends, here we're having various languages, data definition, data manipulation, transaction control language. And by chance, have you seen any language like this, data clustering language? Very good, Harish. Grant, give user permissions and revoke, withdraw the user access. Have you heard about this data clustering language by chance? Okay, think through. Uh,
Yep, sir.
yeah, actually data clustering language is not there, guys. Only we are having DDL, DML, DCL and TCL kind of thing. No, okay, it's not there. Now I am putting one more important aspect, which is nothing but relational schema. Let me see how many of you are aware of this thing. A relational schema, which is nothing but the first option I am giving is a visual tool. Okay, this particular visual tool options I am giving, friends, for different diagrams. Okay, visual tool to represent different diagrams. This is one thing. And coming to the second option, um, a specific DML tool. This is a second option I'm giving in front of you. Just you wait for all the options, then you can decide. Uh, an existing idea, an existing idea of how database must be organized. Must be database must be organized. Next option, guys. Okay, so just I am giving you the kind of four statements here. Maybe you are knowing about schema and as well as the instance of the database. The most important point is, friends, uh, Sahu, just to re-examine. Okay, so because ER diagram is different, which is a Erwin tool is there and UML is there, or else you are having draw.io is there. Like that, we are having some tools. Yeah, I will wait. I'll wait. So let us see how many of you are having understanding of this thing. So first, let me give you the essence of what do you mean by a relational schema. A schema is nothing but the overall design of the database. Maybe I would say the schema may contains dictionaries. The schema may contains catalogs. The schema is containing the table information. All these kind of the informations can be known as the relational schema. Now I have given you some different options. Visualization tool to represent different diagrams, a specific DML tool, an existing idea of how the database must be organized. Fourth one is you remove. Definitely the answer is from the three. Okay, Harish, Karthik, Praveen, all were given as three. Only Sahu has given answer one, maybe understanding differentiation. So I'll go with three, friends. The reason behind is very simple. Suppose I'm creating a database initially, and that particular database itself is portrayed with various tables, and each and every table is having some kind of the architecture, maybe in terms of the data types or in terms of constraints, all these things. So um, we have to discuss because okay, once you reach out to the level of the project, you need to decide based on the requirement. Of course, you will be getting the database design information, and you have to create the tables. Okay, or else sometimes in a typical situations, you should identify the number of tables in the appropriate scenario. I'll give you that scenario also, guys. Okay, I'll come up with some kind of small capstone project where I will give some scenario. So in that particular case, you need to identify um, how many tables are required and which are all the constraints. Okay, I'll give you some kind of these description, and we'll do that as a group project. Okay, so and let me know just by Friday. You help me to get the names of the groups. Okay, maybe you can form groups yourself, or else I'll do one thing. So whoever left with no group, then I'll combine those members. Okay, so the guidelines are simple. So because we are having 12 members in the call, so those 12 members okay, form into four groups, 4 into 3. Okay, so uh, like these particular groups, all these particular four groups will be given four different scenarios as a group project. By Friday, I'll give that project information to you, and you can divide the work, friends. Okay, maybe how we are going to design, and how we are going to create the tables, and how we are going to achieve the appropriate logic. And I will be sharing with you the document also, which are all the constructs you need to implement, and what exactly you have to submit to me, because without any guidance you cannot do that, na? So just with the constructs whatever we have learned. Okay, so just because by Friday we are going to complete some of the aspects. um, Within that those kind of aspects only I'll prepare the simple POC or capstone kind of thing. You members, okay, however individually also I am assessing you just by giving some task on day to day basis. That will continue, however, but from day after tomorrow onwards you have to prepare the presentation, because I have seen your dynamism. Let me complete one, because yesterday we have seen four members. Today I will see some more four members, and tomorrow four members. Uh, uh, However, if you are talking about this complete assessment of individual members, by tomorrow I'll be completing that assessment, however. And from Thursday onwards, what we'll do is whatever the task I am giving, that is a group task I will give. Okay, because to warm up the appropriate members. Okay, so I mean to say maybe today evening or tomorrow evening you submit the names. Okay, so like batch one. Okay, which is of 3 members. You yourself you can form the batch like that, four batches. Okay, 4 into 3, 12. Now each batch will be given some task. Maybe I may ask you to give the presentation. Okay, and share the tasks, and demonstrate. So far we have seen the individual capabilities. Now we'll work on the capabilities of task, and to demonstrate the things. Okay. Um, so the deadline is of course maybe tomorrow. We are having some four members, and if you could give by tomorrow end of the day, if you could give the batch formation details, or else randomly I'll announce the batches. Because first I'll give option to you, and based on your communication and coordination, just let me know. Okay, so these are all batches we formed. And the leftover members I will take care. That is one option. Second option is if you ask me to design the batches myself, because if I am designing means it will purely random. So again, you need to establish some form of the communication and all. That is up to you, friends. Whatever the way, I am perfectly all right. But only the thing is how you are involving in the teamwork. Okay, so the teamwork is most important. I definitely observe what way you are contributing to the team and how we are projecting the appropriate things in a best way, because always we is greater than I. Okay, so we together work and we can achieve anything. That is the motto. Just to form the groups or else I'll give the group. So what we'll do is from Thursday onwards, we'll start Thursday and Friday. We'll see the batch presentations, and by Friday evening, I'll announce the simple capstone to all 4 batches. So just you work on, maybe that is related to aggregate functions, maybe the some kind of the operations, okay, which is very pretty known to you. But only the thing is we need to work in a small project kind of thing. Maybe I'll be sharing with you guys related to um, the documentation and how we need to submit. And every day I'll review that while interacting. Each batch will be there and they are going to present about the status information. Completely, I need the documentation and as well as the presentation. Okay, so documentation you can submit after completion of the course. But presentation is there. I will give some kind of the time to the batches. Accordingly, you can present that. Okay. So that is one thing. So now coming back to the discussion, actually this relational schema is something like which is a visual tool. I have mentioned, and a specific DML tool, definitely not. The third one is the thing, friends, because at the moment I am talking about some project or some kind of the implementation. You have to sit with the other members and you should discuss. And after the discussion only, the database must be organized. So definitely the relational schema is something like which is a way to extend the existing idea to the database, whatever the requirement. Okay. Now we know that primary key, where a column or a set of columns whose value exists and it's unique. It is unique for every record. Now, if I'm saying something like this, friends, maybe if I am asking you to name these kind of the convention, let me share this thing. Okay, I'm having certain examples here. So STU table, student ID, student name, CGPA, and customer, customer ID. Next, customer phone number, address. This is the second option. Now what I'm doing is here I am exclusively taking SID as the primary key. Here sometimes, you know, friends, it is easy to observe the customer information with the phone number also. What I am doing here is customer ID and phone number, and both the things we are managing as a primary key. Okay, so if any primary key is having multiple attribute, that is what you call the composite primary key. Composite primary key. So friends, here we have to decide. So whether I'm okay with the individual attribute or whether should I go with the composite attribute. So that is what you call the composite primary key. Now in the same liner, can someone help me to understand what do you mean by a surrogate key? You can Google it, friends, no problem. I'll wait for 2 minutes. Okay, so primary key and composite primary key are pretty simple. Uh, Identification of a particular attribute in a particular in a table is a simple primary key. One key is identified as the primary key. But sometimes, there is a combination of the keys also. Maybe if I feel if I feel that rather than taking one column, if I am grouping multiple columns, so just we can go ahead with the composite primary key. Multiple attributes forming a primary key is known as the composite primary key. Now I am putting one more question, friends, maybe bit little distinct, but there are certain scenarios where you need to depend on the surrogate key also. Just have a look. Okay, but I don't want entire copy from the Google, and you take up to 12:30. Just you think through whatever the answer you feel the best answer. Just you write in the chat window. Surrogate key. Okay, just have a look, and I'll take the appropriate answers by 12:30. Right? Okay. Okay, good. So very good. That's what I like in our group is the response. Okay, the response is always Akram says surrogate key. Each row must have a unique value for that column or unique identifier for each row. Yeah, but how it is distinct with primary key should be reflected. Shahid is saying uh, Okay, so surrogate key is like a primary key, but it will only accept numerical values where primary key accepts. Okay, good, very good, Shahid. Is making sense. Sahu says surrogate key is used as a primary key, but the difference is primary key can be char, var, in data type, but surrogate key only be the simple numeric, as that of our friend said. Praveen coming up with another narration is a unique identifier for each row in the table. Using this key, we can identify a unique row. Excellent. This is system date or timestamp. Because these kind of the conventions, friends, actually very much helpful, especially while there are certain tracking of aspects. Maybe in that particular case, we need to dependent on some auto generation of the keys by the machine, where there is a chance of identifying the appropriate records in a clear cut way. I'll give some example, however, just I'm going through your narrations. And Satish says unique identifier for each row and may it use as primary key. Surrogate key, another name is, yeah, of course, artificial key, pseudo key, anything. Okay, good. Karthikeyan says artificial generated key, essentially. ID numbers. Okay, so auto increment, very good. Must have unique value in each row. Use when natural key is too long. Excellent. This is also one of the important answer. So Janeswar says surrogate key is generated when a new record is inserted into a table automatically by the database that can be declared as a primary key of the table. Mm, of course, here the point is, friends, though primary key is there, again you may dependent on the surrogate key. Okay, so that is the understanding. Srinidhi says unique identifier for each row, and it may use as a primary key, system date and timestamp kind of thing. And Bharati says surrogate key is primary key, unique identifier is a typical thing. Harish, any column or set of column from table that can be declared as a primary key. Okay, unique value. And Vedant provides a simple system generated in simple numeric data type. Okay, so good, but let me give you the clarification. So I got something for you. Uh, if I am making use of this particular surrogate key, friends, have a look on this. Is a typical definition. A surrogate key, definitely a type of primary key, because primary key again, which is something like uniquely identifying the record in the table. It is typically a system generated. Okay, unique identifier that has no business value, because we are not at all making any value out of that thing, friends. Only for the sake of for our understanding, for individually identifying the records only we are making use, and that should not change. Using a surrogate key instead of real or natural key is considered as a best practice in relational database design, because I dedicated this session to discussion of the best practices and coding wise and all. I want to highlight this particular point also, because sometimes there are situations where we may use the appropriate concept so as to explain the things in a better way. Now if you observe the another example I am giving to you, here I am having certain table data, friends. Here if you see here, so this particular data, what exactly it is containing is this is a product table actually. So we are having the product key, product alternate key, product subcategory, some kind of tools we are having. Now what we are doing is uh, see this product alternate key also individual, friends. If you see AR or BA or BE, CA, like that, maybe there are certain product information. Um, the prefix explain us the kind of the product, and that is the ID 5381 or something like that. As someone said, generally primary key is the combination of characters, maybe the numbers or whichever. Any doubt, friends? Someone is any doubts we are having? Okay. Okay. So if you are referencing this particular key, friends, it is a system generated, maybe auto increment. Okay, something like that. So based on that particular convention, you can end up with the surrogate key. So though primary key is there in the system, but always identification of the records with these kind of the things is bit tedious for the user. Okay, but whereas if I could get the numbers like this, maybe ID kind of thing, 1 2 3 4 like that, so we can able to generate those kind of the things. My suggestion would be, friends, try to embed these kind of aspects while working with your project also. I'll see your innovation and creativity because more or less we are having all the constructs, but only the thing is in the database design, uh, while using the code efficiently and intelligently, I will rate your project also, your submissions also I will rate, and I will give you the best project, this thing also. Okay, so all things are there. Only the thing is you have to work smart. Okay, I'm not putting any burden on you. Only the thing is you have to use your brain. That's all. How best we can do, how best we can implement, because we can achieve anything, friends. As a human being, just we need to sit and do. That's it. Okay, we are having little lazy. That if you avoid that particular laziness, definitely you can reach to any level. Okay, your, as I mentioned, your success is my success, friends. If you could achieve the challenges, and if you could achieve the projects in a better way, definitely I dependent on you. Okay, so with this, just we are having some kind of the nice quiz, and as well as the discussion about the best practices in terms of the surrogate key now. Okay, so the simple and our favorite aspect, which is the aggregate functions, as promised by me before taking the break. So let me understand this point, friends. Why we need to aggregate the things? What is the reason behind the aggregation? Okay, so why uh, aggregate? Why we need to aggregate?
Evaluation of data.
Uh, Evaluation of the data. Any other?
Filtering the data based on
Filtering. Okay,
Make operations from the requirement according to the data.
excellent. Who is that? Wasima. Operations. Very good, Wasim. Nice point. Operations according to the demands of clients. Any other? Very good. All good. One more. One more. Harish,
yes, sir.
can you give one more? Like, what is your understanding about aggregation of the data? Maybe by seeing these things, anything coming to your mind?
For aggregation operation,
Hmm.
collection of
To
values,
check
Extracting
if
the
the
single values.
Hmm.
Collecting a set of values and returning a single.
Very good.
it's like a summary.
Very good.
To see row in more organized manner.
Excellent. Karthika, single value. One more guy has said something like
extracting the fruitful information from the data without aggregate is not possible in SQL.
definitely, Wasim, because see why we are scoping this aggregation before going into the stored procedures and all these things is uh, aggregation is something like the summarization. Someone has given that word actually, so I have not seen, but kudos to that guy. Uh, Suppose I ask you to come up with some kind of the analogy related to a particular data, friends. Maybe I'm putting some example in front of you. So just what we are doing is, let me take some scenario so that you can easily get into the point. Uh, in this particular case, friends, what I'm doing is just I'm taking some kind of the data where I am creating some information of the employee. Okay, so this particular employee data is containing some kind of a month information, an employee ID, something like that, and department data and salary. So simply what I am doing is, let me create. So I'll go with my favorite virtual lab. So rather than using the workbench will use some other time, friends, definitely, because I want to scope all. Where is that? 1 minute, guys. This is Cloudera. Yeah. Okay. So this one, let me clear the screen, and I want to use the creation of the table. Okay, so let me understand. Let me give you the example of this statement. So just we are creating one table, friends. Just this particular table is employee data with a month. Okay, maybe the joining month and as well as the employee data. Initially, HR is recording the data, maybe in a raw format. Not complete data is available, but to process his details, because for the background check and for the sake of assigning the the designation. Initially, the HR is trying to record the data. As a result, his joining month. Maybe June, July, August, like that he has recorded. Integer, if I'm saying, means automatically the number, maybe 3 March, 4 is April, like that. A little bit employee information, department data and salary. Okay, so just we have created this EMPL. And next important thing, friends, once this is over, I want to describe the employee data. So with month, employee information, department, and as well as the salary. Okay. Now, the point here is without entering the data or without inserting any information, there is no chance of working on that. So what I am doing is, just let me pull some kind of the insert into statements. Okay, so this particular statement I am picking up. So some few records I am having in my hand. So like insert into EMPL values of 1, Oliver, and as well as the HR, the corresponding kind of the department and salary. And next thing is again which month he has joined, January only. Name of the employee, George, and kind of the department he is working for, IT, and salary. Maybe in dollars we can take, friends. Okay. And 3, Harry, which is belongs to who is belongs to HR and the corresponding money. And 6, Jack, IT, the appropriate salary, and Jacob, sales, and 12, sales again, and something like this, some data are randomly populated. So with this, um, what happens? So insert into any number I'm using. Oh, sorry guys. Okay, let me. Oh, this is the problem. So these things, while getting the appropriate information, we have to remove that number. Okay, so that one. Okay, so just rows were inserted, and then you can see select star from EMPL data. Now we are ready with some table information with such kind of month of joining, employee, department, salary, and then we have inserted some kind of the records. 7 records we have inserted. And don't worry about this month repetition, friends. Maybe in the same month we may get multiple joinees. Okay, and at this moment we don't have any. That's what I said. This is not a proper database design. I want to make use of these kind of examples also to clearly say that while establishing any kind of the project or any database design, initially you may not worry about the primary keys. Always, friends, the source data is important. The source data is important, and that particular source data here we are having some month and as well as the other employee name, department, and salary. and it is all the efficiency. That's what I'm saying. Initial source may not be having any kind of the constraints or any kind of the best practices. It is you in the team should provide some kind of the best practices, because by seeing this particular data, we are not having any kind of ID. Okay, so because that month, month is simply saying that a repetition of the months. That means Oliver and George joined in January with our company, and no, and Charlie joined December with our company. So Jack and Jacob joined in the 6th month, and Harry only he is the one who joined in March with our company. So we recorded all these things. Now you may be wondering. So without primary key, that's what I intentionally asked. Why aggregation is required? Because whether I'm having the um, primary key or whether I'm having the not null or unique kind of the things or not, no matter. I can summarize the data, because at the end of the month, the management need to give the check to our salaries. So definitely the accounts department should send that information to the management. Like in this month, how much salary we need to draw or we need to disburse to the corresponding members. Okay, because members are keep on joining starting from January to up to December, and we may not have the same kind of the check to disburse the salary, because whenever the members are adding, we have to scope the salaries of those members also. Okay, that is most important consideration. Okay, so now in this particular case, so let us give some kind of the implications here. Now, if I want to, the management want to observe the count of total number of employees, because they want to know that, okay, so far we are having, we reached to 3000 members. Okay, like that, the management want to specify how many member or how many employees are joined so far. Okay, so just we can make use of this particular statement, friends. Let us understand this one. Count and that too, I'm using this particular star. Can someone help me, friends? Either chat window or unmute yourself. What do you mean by that star actually?
Every record is
All the records. Generally, star is related to all the records. Any other meaning is there, friends, specifically? Any other meaning? Okay, no problem. So because count is a function which frequently used with the group by option, friends. Okay, so we'll see group by also in a while, but we slowly understanding how we are making use, because these things are not new for you. But only the thing is how I can add that additional techniques to your knowledge is my priority. So in that particular case, at the moment you are talking about this particular count star, I want to pick up no matter whether there are nulls or not nulls or distinct or non-distinct. I want to pick up the number of items or number of records in that particular table. My intention is that. That's what I am using this select count star from employee. Now, instead of this thing, okay, so observe the beauty of these aggregate functions. Select star from EMPL if I am doing, okay, manually I have to count, especially if I am not having any primary key kind of the data. I should go with each and every thing I have to manually count, or else I have to see the 7 rows or something like that. Okay, but whereas explicitly I want to observe the count. Okay, maybe sometimes I may have 20,000, 30,000 records also. Okay, for this particular purpose, irrespective of the null values, if I want to scope all the kind of the thing, definitely we should go with the count star. But this is not the case always, friends. Maybe the HR department want to assign some duties to their staff because due to the heavy joinings and all, new members also joined, and they have to establish the reporting structure, and maybe multiple HR managers are there across the India, and the members who join from Delhi or Bangalore or Chennai or Hyderabad. Okay, they need to segregate those kind of thing, but they should know that um, the total number of employees joined in HR department. I'll wait here. So just let me paste the requirement, friends. Okay, so suggest me what is the simple query so as to count the total number of employees in HR department. Because if you observe our appropriate data, which is there in the corresponding table. So we're having multiple departments here, HR, IT, sales, like that. I'm having some different departments. My question here is, how can I pick up the members who joined in the HR department? Because they should be picked up, and they of course the HR department tag is there, and they have to assign some managers. Okay, based on their experience, whoever having more experience should be allocated as a manager to those guys. So to perform these kind of aspects, what is your approach, friends? Yeah, Bharati is typing, Harish. Okay, let me wait. No problem. Okay, because one see, there is no rule you have to follow, only this kind of the convention. I can have my own way of querying, and which you may not satisfy with that, and you can have your own querying. So ultimately, we have to follow some kind of the standards, and our aim is to optimize the queries for the better performance. Okay, so for that, okay. Select count of department from employee where department equal to HR. Okay, let me see. Okay, good. Karthikeyan has come up with some different approach. Why you are grouping, I don't understand. And one more thing is, don't travel ahead and don't create unnecessary complexities, friend. That is also one more point. I'm looking for the chance actually. See, just by seeing, and don't always prefer the complex path. Okay, so optimization means not using the things complexly, using the things in a simplest way. Anyone can do that, and by seeing that particular statement, we have to end up our searching process in the simple way. It doesn't mean that always our project or our task demands most complex things. No, no, friends, that is not true. Even in data engineering or data science projects also, we always prefer to simplify the things, and that is in fact the less code and as well as more impact, and more optimization is preferable. Okay, that is the reason why we are spending much time on the optimizations. So without much waiting, what I can do is just I'm having some answer with me. So where irrespective of null or something, I want to pick up the appropriate members. So so this is the way how we are making use. So select count star from EMPL where department equal to HR. So obviously, just I will be getting, okay, two members has joined, and some other criteria is there here. Suppose if you want to uh, avoid this particular star and you want to scope only the department. Okay, so just you can see that particular thing. Okay, so and clearly MySQL giving the seconds, and if you see in both the cases, as our data is very small, and we'll see that, friend. Sometimes we'll see with the heavy data also. I will scope those particular examples also, storing some data and verifying. So you can also feel that how this huge data can be processed with the kind of MySQL queries. Okay, this is one convention you can follow up. Now there is always one important point, friends. Okay, now let us see. I'll end up because 4 minutes only we have left with, and what I am doing here is I'm giving you some another genre actually. So I want to get the total number of employees in each department. What I mean to say is, suppose if you take this particular example, so far we have seen only the employees who reported in the HR department. We got two, but other five members are there where these particular five members are span over to IT and as well as the sales. Remember one important point, friends. Whenever you see each, okay, wherever if you see the each, you have to use the group by. There is no other option. So group by is something which works on top of the group of records. Okay, so uh, if you refer, because I asked you uh, the convention, Bharati, Karthik, Shahid, all these guys are very good and they are giving nice. Okay, so I want to observe the appropriate aspect, and even I specified that on which context I have to group. I have to group on the department context. So obviously I should group by department, and I should project that maybe managers are there and they should know, they want to know that how many members are joined in the sales, how many members are joined in the IT, how many members are joined in the HR. So irrespective of the appropriate thing, so just we want to check the members. So just if you observe the kind of the convention, I'm having the revised list here. So just if I'm making use of this convention, okay, so observe guys here. So whatever the things you have mentioned, more or less I'm using the same kind of the convention because I am not particular about whether I'm having any null or not null. In this table, definitely we don't have any null. And see what we are doing is here a little trick. Each department I have asked now. So obviously, if you are referencing the each department kind of thing, group by department, because in the context of the department only, I want to group the records and count of this particular thing. So automatically, how many number of records are there related to that particular context. So see, if you refer the select class, okay, until this, it is pretty easy. Here I want to get the count and I want to get the department information also from employee. But this group by is doing actual magic. So that group by how it is doing magic and what exactly the important points we have to consider and how we are going to apply um, the appropriate clauses. Like, suppose if I'm saying this one, uh, group by department. Okay, so department having uh, count star greater than or equal to 3, something like that. So just if you see this thing, friends, there is, I have not used a where clause. So if I'm instead of using this having, if I'm putting my query as where, okay, so it is saying something, friends. Okay, you have an error there. That means there is something should be there. Some reason should be there where group by is associated with the having rather than the where clause. Okay. So with this, just will stop with the good interval bang. And before taking the lunch break, let me give you the key takeaways of this session. Um, because this session we mainly focused on best practices only. Uh, the session key takeaways, just if you observe session 3 key takeaways. So now I'll pick a person. Just you need to give which are all the discussions. Yesterday only I told. Um, like let me pick so people. Sahu, can you give which are all the key takeaways of today's session? What we have discussed, a brief summary. Yeah.
Sir, we checked the database. Then we asked about the surrogate key. Yes, sir.
Only these.
Surrogate key and this
just you
database.
relax. Start from 10 a.m. Okay, up to 1. Just to recollect as a kind of small snippet. That is also one of the important thing. Why I am selecting you guys. Okay, you need to summarize the discussions and maybe you need to give some kind of the summary meet or which are all the tasks you have done so far from 10 days starting of the project. Then you will be given some 2 minutes of the time and how you explain the things. Okay, give a try, Sahu, no problem.
Okay, sir. Sir, we checked the database that has purchase ID and customer ID, customer and purchase. We talked about the constraints like foreign key and primary key, then surrogate key.
Nice. What is the other topic? First topic.
So the first topic was
best coding practices.
Yes, sir, best coding practices.
These things we have done, and then we move to referential integrity.
Where we checked about this naming convention.
Yeah, one small trick I will give you, friends. You base on time actually. Like first topic is okay. If you start recollecting all in the chronological order, automatically okay, coding practices we have seen, and then we have seen some kind of the tasks, and then we have seen some referential integrity, and latest we discussed about on delete cascade.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
and then we have introduced with the aggregate function. Okay, we have not yet done completely, but within the aggregate functions, basically we could able to create some EMPL table, and we have inserted some kind of the record. Those small thing also just we record, and then we applied some kind of the count star, and now we have seen some kind of the group by. Okay, so these are all the things we have.